Okay, welcome, welcome. Christina Merkley here, and it is one of the process pop-ups. I think it's 29, and it is February 25th, so I got all my numbers out of the way. Yay. And we'll start with 10 minutes of meditation, just meeting stillness. And I'll do a quick little ramble. Two of you are joining us for the first time and might not have seen the ground rules and kind of the setup and stuff. So I'll just explain that once we come out of meditation. And then we'll see what emerges. It's different every time. Different people come. We're different when we show up. So we just kind of see, and you'll see when we get there if you haven't been here before, we just see what's up. And then I have blank paper, digital paper to work from, and different tools and processes to meet whatever it is that arises. We've been doing a lot of self-inquiry lately, so we'll see if that's what happens here. So without further ado, let's go into stillness. Hey, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to sit together across distances. Sweet. I'll give the little ramble as your left brain is coming back online here. These have been going since the pandemic started, so almost a year now. And they just keep unfolding and evolving. And we start, as we just did with meditation, maybe the last few weeks. I'm doing that over my visual satsangs, but it's nice to bring it in here too, because it tends to get us here and we come with a different energy as we enter into what we're about to do, whatever unfolds here. As we come back from meditation, it's an opportunity to just see what's present. And like I said, to just work with what unfolds. So you might have come in with things to process, or you might just have not known what the heck is going to go on. You're just curious. Any of that is welcome. We co-create it as we go here, so we cannot do it wrong. And don't be thrown if it feels strange that it's only a couple of people too. Some of the best satsangs are just a few people, and it also ensures if you do have a piece of inner work you want to do, there's a good chance you'll have the time to do it. Typically we go to 2 hours now, but we'll ebb and flow accordingly, depending on what people need. If you do need to leave earlier, I just ask that you drop a note in the chat, because sometimes it's hard to read when people leave. There might be something else going on. So if you're just like, I got an appointment I got to go to or whatever, that just helps the process person in me know they're fine, they're fine. What else to say? Okay. Nice. Grandbaby watching. Nice, Anne. Yeah. Oh, just anything is welcome. It might be left brain kind of stuff, where you want to do strategy work or talk about real world dilemmas. It can also be very right brain stuff, more in the emotional terrain. So whatever kind of emotion it is welcome, because we each plug into these current times in our own unique ways, right? And in each moment. So what is kind of here? And sometimes it's high on the emotional scale, and sometimes it's medium, and sometimes it's low. So any of it is welcome. And if we do inquiry, you'll see, I'll just guide you through it. You have the answers inside of you. And I am lucky enough to be sitting in front of people as they encounter their wisdom within, and I learn so much from it too. It helps balance things in me. So I love doing that. I also will take visual notes. Most of you here know me through visual notes. So depending on what emerges, there will be a record, and I'll share my screen when we get going. Afterwards, the recording and the maps are distributed, and so you'll get an email with them. You can also find them on the YouTube channel. Okay, if anybody has any questions just in terms of context, feel free to ask. Otherwise, it's kind of one of those only way out is through things. We just jump in and we see what it's going to be today. We create it together. And also silence is okay, right? We just kind of meet the silence, because sometimes there's lulls in between things that happen here. So it's okay to just breathe. It's okay if you feel a little awkward with the silence. Normally something emerges out of it. Okay, that's probably enough preamble. Any reports? So anything you want to report on that's going on for you, inner work and awareness wise, as you interact with whatever is happening in your life. And if there's anything that's kind of up for you that you'd like to raise, I can see a hand going. Go for it, Anne. Yeah.
Okay. So you can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's up for me is there's this emotion that's going on, and also pressure. This pressure I put on myself. I think it goes back to this little girl that has to do it all, but also could be an inherited thing. And
I'm gonna stop you right there, if I may.
Okay.
Yeah, because you give me enough, and I've grabbed my tablet because I'm like, we're going in.
All right.
So, because you give me a universe just there, so I'm just gonna,
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my setup here and dive in. And you said an interesting word, I think, so that kind of alerts me too. So,
Okay.
hello, intellect and mind, you are welcome here. Okay, so I'm just going to get down to the best of my ability what you just brought here. So we're just going to welcome, I think you said pressure, am I right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so pressure, you are welcome here. And then also you made like a ... to some orphan stuff. And you said little girl.
Yeah.
So hello, little girl, you are welcome here. Now I'm just going to go to what's emerged here, and forgive the head always being down. Occasionally I'll be up and be able to find you and meet your eyes here, but you know, you'll get used to this quickly. Just think of eyes up here. Yeah. So I'm going to throw out some sentences,
Okay.
and you may have done different kinds of inquiry, so, or not, but as I throw out these sentences, what I'm inviting you to do is just kind of direct them to yourself, direct them within. And
Okay.
sometimes it might be outside your field. Who knows, right? You'll know. You have inherent intelligence. Candace and Denise, sometimes there's parallel processing happening. So you two are part of this too, because depending on what unfolds, you may have some similar things that you encounter, right? So you'll get that worked at the same time. If not, then chances are you have or will, or you have people in your lives that might have similar things. So it can be a real generous gift, right, to absorb somebody's process. You may or may not understand what's going inside by watching and looking at the outside with Anne and I, and or you might, because you might have things happening in you and stuff happening in your nervous system too. So just whatever happens is okay. And you're holding space too. So I'll come back to you. Yeah. Okay. So with that, so let's go meet pressure, shall we?
Yeah.
A lot of people have that, myself included. So I already kind of rattled the words, and it doesn't matter even if you don't believe them or you don't
Okay.
get them. You just kind of say a little hello, pressure. You are welcome here.
Okay.
Just kind of meet it and say hello, even if you
Hello.
don't like it.
And maybe that's the resistance is I'm my own worst enemy, but okay. So hello, pressure. You are welcome here.
Yeah, yeah, just hello, hello. And then already we know there's some aversion, right? So there's kind of a no, and you're like, ooh, that's resistance, because that, and it may very well be, right? Because that's probably a familiar feeling. So you just want to welcome that too, like, oh, hello, resistance. And just a yeah, right? Because there's an aversion to the pressure, and that's understandable. Most of us human beings don't like pressure.
And
So
fear too.
okay, very good. Now when you welcome it, now it's like, ooh, oh yeah, it's teasing out here. So now it's a trio emerging. So we're just like, you're right, you're right. We don't like it. No, thank you.
Should I be writing this down or just
You
let
don't
you
have
write?
to, you don't have
Okay.
to. No, just it's probably best if you just be with it and just put your focus on how it's feeling.
Okay.
And that it popped up before, so I'm just gonna welcome kind of mind. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll draw a little brain up here. So we're just like, hello, intellect and mind and witness and all that. You're welcome here because it's watching and tracking and figuring it out, wants to do it right. So we just welcome it and thank it too, because our intellects work hard.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and they love us. They're in service to us, even if they can sometimes be a little irritating. Yeah, yeah, good. And then we just see what happens now as you're doing so beautifully welcoming. Anything you notice.
I feel like I'm quieting down,
Yep.
and my shoulders feel kind of like like I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders or something.
Okay,
And
that's good. That's information. So we're just going to agree with that.
okay.
Yes, you're right. Hello to quieting down. There's a yes, please with that. Yes, please. Good idea. We like it. To quieting down. And then the shoulders lowering. That's a yes, please, too. I carry a lot of the stuff in my shoulder. Get frozen shoulder. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
Just agreeing. Yes, please. Yes, please. Good idea. And then the narrative, there's narrative there, maybe intellect and mind again, going, oh yeah, you carry a lot of stuff on your shoulders, right? So it's connecting
Yeah.
dots. So you're like, thanks, mind, you're right, you connected a dot there.
Yeah. It's like I'm almost afraid of my own thoughts. Like my thoughts rule me, which I know they don't, and they don't have power over me, but I don't always think that.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we're just going to a deeper layer here. And so as you quiet down and then this stuff's going on and we're aware of the intellect and mind, and then another part there's popping up and saying, sometimes I'm kind of afraid of these thoughts and they rule me. I'm just agreeing, you're right. There's agreement, and that's the mind and intellect seeing that stuff and observing it. And to the rule me, there's probably a no thank you. No thank you. No thank you. To the ruling.
Uh-huh.
And then probably a bow of respect too, because a lot of this stuff, the mind and the thoughts and the thoughts that get out of control that feel like they're going to rule, I might not say all of it correctly, control might be mine. That's coping, right? That's coping mechanisms, that's survival. We've got a lot going on individually and collectively right now, and our intellect and minds do their darndest to help.
Right. What just came through is I'm not going to make it.
Ah, very good. So survival. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to meet that, not going to make it because it's arising. So it's good that it's coming up to the surface. And then you want to also soothe it. It's hush, hush, come here. Right? That's a shortcut for Orphan Rescue. Hush, hush, come
I
here,
like that.
come here. Yeah. And it might be that little orphan girl that you started to pop in with the beginning, or it might be something else, but whatever it is, it needs some meeting, right? So
Right.
come close, I'm here. I got you. And it might be personal, and it might be family, right? Like lineage stuff. It might be the collective. It might be all three levels at once, right? All this, we're not going to make it business.
No wonder I have so much pressure on me.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and the mind did another one of its connect the dots. So you're right, mind. Good job. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. There's a lot going on. And this is getting down to that survival level, really first chakra root stuff, which is big, right? It's big for individuals and it's big for groups and past people in our lineage. They did something right because you're here, so you and the family survived, and probably from being able to scan and being able to have fears and stuff. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, probably just releasing. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever's going on in the throat and that tightening and that, that's this Ariel in here, and just agreeing, you're right, we don't like it. Human beings, we don't like it when it bumps up against our survival stuff. It's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah. I'll say things humorously, but underneath it, it's like real. This is serious. Like, yeah. Survival's a big deal. Oh.
just keep looking at that picture and I see her as crazy.
Ah, okay. So that's where we go next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So hello, crazy.
She says hi. Yeah.
Hello, my old friend. Yes. And there's going to be a version in there too, and it might be family stuff. There might be roots, maybe it's passed down stuff. Somebody back there was crazy or was afraid of being crazy, or persecution. There's a lot of pointing fingers going on in the field right now, right? You're crazy. No, you're crazy. Fake news, fake, yeah. Delusional. Yeah. Yeah. So we're just going to welcome all that, and then agree with the, yeah, we don't like it. We don't want to be crazy. No, thank you. Probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, what's scary to me is what I've been noticing over the past year. Maybe it's just coming up to the surface so much more, is that I feel like I know when that crazy comes and I almost believe it to be true. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not, but yet it scares me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Disagree with that. Yes,
but
of course, of course.
I was just saying this to my daughter yesterday. Well, if I'm questioning it, I know I'm not crazy.
Right. Probably a good chance. But here we have an opportunity. I don't know if you've done any satsang stuff, but this is like crazy's coming to satsang, right? There's an inherent opportunity. I just got goosebumps when I said that. There's an inherent opportunity in meeting it, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I haven't had the opportunity to do this in this kind of setting yet. So how perfect. Like through the form of you, we all get to meet crazy, right?
Okay.
So all you're doing is just becoming aware, and all of us might feel it too, right? It's kind of this, I feel it outside of me. I don't know where you feel it. But just kind of go up, walk up, float up, whatever, in front of crazy, and just kind of stand there or sit there. Because crazy normally has people running away from it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to actually go, oh, hello.
Well, I keep getting a pain in my right shoulder. Okay. I don't know if it has to do with crazy, but like right.
Pay attention. So just say thank you for the information. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Crazy, and maybe stuff going on with the shoulder. And do a bow to crazy, or something along the lines of showing respect.
Okay.
Whatever that might be for you, just to give it its due and its respect, because it's kind of a thing that floats around people and individuals and our collective at large, right? Like it's a big player, so to speak, like archetypal energy. It's like it's interesting. It's big. It has a long history in the human species.
Yeah. It really does when you think of it,
Yeah.
And how many times do people throw that word around left and right, it's just out there so much. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Beautiful. And so you're just saying, you're directing that to crazy and going, yeah, I see it. Boy, your name gets evoked a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
And I was probably always the crazy one of my family too.
Yeah. So now you're getting the individual history, the crazy one. So you're just going to agree as you meet with crazy, it's going, you were called the crazy one. And so that personal history, you're just going to meet it, right? Like, oh, yes, hello, I'm the crazy one, apparently. And anything that comes with that, it might be a mix of emotions or somatic feelings or memories, whatever it is, just see what comes.
Nausea.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a really important. Nausea shows up. Yeah, things are starting to move. Yeah. So just breathing into it, and go again. Hello, nausea.
Hello, nausea.
Yeah, and just saying you're right. We don't like it. Being called the crazy one is kind of sickening.
Mm-hmm.
And just agree with that. That's a natural aversion.
That's true.
Yeah. And this is where you might also want to do an orphan sweep, get out the magnet and pick up those bits, a little soul retrieval, right? The different times that maybe you were called crazy or you felt that you were seen as crazy. And they can be young ones, right? They can go back very young, and that they can be adolescent, they can be adult. Sometimes it's like a, you know, a necklace, beads, right? And they kind of, you can connect all the way back. And you just want to bring them close, like, hello, all those incidences of being crazy where it may have been hurtful, you know, called that, interpreted that. Or even if there was a line that was crossed, right, where the behavior goes by the so-called norms of society, just you be the big mama. You bring them in. Come here.
My question is, where I seem to struggle is all of this going on in my life, and it, you know, and things will go on, and not to take it personal, but just witness it and allow it. That's where I struggle a lot.
Yeah, and that's exactly where we're at. So the mind's popped in because it's uncomfortable, and this is deviating, right? So we just want to reassure the mind, right? It's okay, mind. It's okay, we can meet it. Thank you for your love, because it's trying to analyze it, right? It'd rather do things that way than do it the other way, which is the being, right? It's kind of doing and observing, and that's all coping stuff, and it's served you well. And you just want to reassure it and maybe tell it, don't worry, we're going to retain sanity here. We're going to remain practical. Just because we're meeting crazy and the crazy one doesn't mean we're going to be overtaken by it or we're going to lose our mind. Don't worry, mind, intellect, you have a home here. You are welcome here. Just see what happens, as you know, that might reassure it, or it might have some yeah buts, the intellect, the mind. Because of course the mind's going to get upset when crazy's thrown around, because that's connected to like losing your mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's always seemed like a big one in this life for me.
Yeah.
And losing my, it really has. I grew up around a lot of crazy people too.
Okay, good. So I was wondering, because that's usually that, like, this is constellation family stuff, right? And I've been saying family a bit because I just had this sense there's ancestral stuff. So now we're going to go to that level. So now you go to the family and the crazy ones.
Okay.
And you just want to give a little bow of respect back to the lineage. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Some of it might have been lost to antiquity. You don't really know, but just hello, crazy ones back there. All of us have them.
Yeah. None of us get out of this alive.
Yeah, and with family trees, got a lot of people, and there's guaranteed to be some legit crazy and some crazy.
Shit crazy.
Yeah.
Bat shit crazy.
Yeah. Okay, good. Bat shit crazy. Let's welcome bat shit crazy. Yeah. Hello. Just see as you meet them, because normally this is where with family constellation, people get ostracized and they get shut away and swept under the rug, but energetically you can't. And it pops up through next generations, because these sensitive kids, probably like you are, they sense this stuff, right? And if it hasn't been dealt with the family system, it pops up again.
Yeah.
So you're just going, hello, batshit crazy ones back there. You are welcome here. I see you. And just even a bow and honor to it, because that's an interesting journey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of legit ways to do life, and crazy can be one of them. They belong. They belong.
Okay. I like that.
Just try it on for size. That tells me I'm in the right direction, that you liked it, because it soothes something.
Yeah, they belong. That makes me feel really good inside. I could almost cry.
Nice. Yay, we hit ding bo. They belong. Yeah, that's a big law, belonging with constellation work. So hello. They belong, I belong, we belong. The crazies in the world, belong.
Wow, I could cry. Oh.
Yeah, welcome the tears. Tears, you are welcome here. Crying, you are welcome here. Yeah, lovely. Not just I could, I am. I'm gonna cry. Yay.
I think this one needed some soothing.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
agreeing with the soothing, because that's what tears are. Soothing. It's all soul work, right? Tears in the eyes and the soul. And it's always relief. Tears are always relieving. They do good things for our nervous system. So just, especially with pressure, it releases. Yeah. And there's probably different layers too, right? Like all this crazy stuff's up in the field, but it's also been a way that you plug in from past history and from family history and from collective history. A lot of us who are the different ones from our families, right, can get those labels.
Like, what's wrong with you, you know?
Yep. Yep. Good. There's another layer of it. What's wrong? Yeah. So
No, my
bring
mother always did that. I just be in the living room, being my crazy
crazy
self,
self.
and or sometimes I would sit there and I'd be staring off in space, and she would say, "Is everything okay? What's wrong?" And nothing would be wrong, nothing. And she would say that to me all the time, like, "Oh, what's the matter?" Like, it was almost like she was talking to herself, but she was saying it to me, and I thought,
That's
no.
funny because I was going to say projection, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
after a while, I thought, I'm fine. So, it almost gets me mad.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and she still does that to me to this day.
so let's go meet all that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 So, um, what's wrong with you pops up. So this is more getting the magnet out and finding those orphans who are sitting on the couch doing their crazy thing, and mom comes up and you were actually fine, but whatever was going on, that out of her mouth came, what's wrong with you and what's the matter, and that had a reaction, and multiple reactions because it compounds over time. So just want to bring those ones close, right? It's like the Orphan Rescue, kind of get on the couch there with her, your adult now self, and put an arm around her, and maybe even get the remote out and freeze mom.
Yeah,
Mute,
freezing you.
mute and
Stop
freeze
it.
mom. Yeah, and then now you can comfort the orphan, right? And what do you want to say from your perspective now? What do you say to that one on the couch? She's going, I was fine. Like, what's she saying?
Yeah. I would say, um, you're just being who you are yourself. You're okay. It's okay. And like, just because someone's saying that to you doesn't mean that's true about you, you know?
Yep.
And I knew that it wasn't me, but then I got to the point where I was like started questioning myself, doubting myself. So
Yep.
I would tell her, "Oh, it's okay you're doubting yourself, but it it this is somebody else saying it to you. It's not who you are." Or
Well, and,
something.
and this isn't just anybody, this is moms.
Right.
And a lot of you are moms here. I'm not, but I have one. So, moms are human beings, and moms got their own things going on. So,
Right.
and you may or may not ever figure that one out, but you can try even just saying that to that younger you on the couch. How old is she on the couch? Is she like a tween or a teenager or?
Like, yeah, like between 10 and 14 or
Yep,
something like that.
yep, yeah. So as you kind of sit by her with an arm over her, and you just, what's from your current age, take your best crack at explaining your mom's behavior to the 10 to
Okay.
14-year-old?
Okay. I would say she's coming from her own perspective, and in her own mind.
Yep.
She's looking at you through her past or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her
Yeah.
filter, her past. Yep. Good.
Right. Right. And so that's what I would say. I
Yep.
don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good. And just see how it lands with your orphan. Is that 10 to 14-year-old getting it? Does she have any questions, any yeah buts?
I feel like she has a yeah, but she feels a little lighter and like, oh, okay. But
It took
she's
care of
worried.
some of it, but there's still some
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
She's worried about her mother.
Ah, okay. So what do you want to say to her about that worry? What do you know now from your current age and vantage point? And you
Yeah.
might not have it all fully there if mom's still, in the picture and stuff. You can always go to future self, but let's try it now with you, which is what, from your now self, what do you say to that 10, 14-year-old back there in time and she was worried about mom? What is,
Um,
what's
well,
authentic?
I would say to her, well, her mother died when she was 2.
Oh, wow.
So I would say to her, I would say that I feel she she didn't she doesn't believe it in herself or something.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding you, so your mother's mothering got interrupted. So
Yeah,
her at 2, she lost her mother. Wow.
right.
Let's just take a moment to bow to that. Wow.
Yeah,
To that.
it almost makes me want to cry. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
that's another crying one. So just breathe and cry because that's a biggie.
Yeah,
Wow, we can all feel that, right? So we just put our hand on our chest or whatever feels appropriate and just like bow to Anne's mother who lost her mother at 2, and the utter wound of that, the pain of that poor little girl, and the lost, bewildered, everything. And it's gonna impact, her own security in the world.
her own psyche.
Yeah, there you go. Yep,
That's what came psyche.
yep. There's a lot missing there for being able to be met with her own development.
Right.
Understandably so. Yeah. Wow. 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 And your orphan's taking it in going, yeah, because 10, 14, we don't really get this stuff, right, about larger context, right? And it's like, sweetheart, yeah, I know you're worried about mom, and mom came from a challenging background and challenging circumstances.
Yeah,
Yep, go ahead. And I'm throwing out words, but you can use whatever, tweak them, right? Whatever is
yeah.
authentic and lands for you. What do you want to say to that teen?
Um, she didn't know any better.
Yeah,
Like, it's not her fault, and she didn't know. She knew what she knew, and that was her way of dealing with her own trauma,
yeah, okay,
her own
good.
life.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, very good. You may want to, I'm just aware we have mom kind of frozen there. So you may want to, you don't have to unfreeze her quite yet, but you might, unless you care to, but you might want to just, from your adult self with the arm around the teen, right? The two of you kind of look at mom with that compassion and that understanding, right? That larger context understanding to understand that, wow, this is inside there is a little girl who lost her mom very young with
Yeah.
everything that came with that. And that she's just trying, and you're kind of saying this to the orphan, she's just trying to do her best. She's working
Right.
with, some of the deck missing. She didn't get the things that would be nice for all human beings to get early on
Maybe
through no
what
fault of her own.
right, maybe what she said to me was she was soothing herself.
Okay. Yep. Wow, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
So she really had nobody to say, are you okay? Or what's the matter? Or,
Right. Look, she would always say, "What are you thinking?"
mm,
And I'd be staring off in space. And I think that's why I think I'm crazy, because, oh,
mm.
what am I thinking? And and she still does that, but what are you thinking, Anne? And yeah.
So, and do a good job to the intellect, because intellect is trying to unpuzzle the puzzle, and it's doing a good job, and good theories and hypotheses and everything going on. So we'll just say, good job, mind. Good job trying to figure it out up the butt there. And then just bring the orphan and say, we don't fully know totally what's going on here. We may or we may not, but the important thing is, we're understanding it's not about you. You're not crazy.
Right.
Mom's probably not crazy either. So
Right.
there's some unmet needs and some interesting communications and maybe codependency of the other instead of being able to own one's own needs, right? All that kind of stuff. So you're just kind of saying to that orphan, like, it's confusing and you're not crazy. You're not crazy.
Right.
She's not crazy. You're not crazy.
Right. And I know that to be true, even though I know that's the truth.
Yep. Yep.
She always would say the word, "Oh, she's rotten," about somebody. I don't know why that just came up.
Well, you're going to a next layer. So as this has been soothed, now the next
Okay.
thing's showing itself. So we'll just go there to the rotten. Because
Okay.
now that you took care of crazy, now we have to work on rotten.
Okay. She's
Rotten.
rotten.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know why that comes to mind. Like, my father had extramarital affairs, and I feel like that has something, I don't know why, but she, I don't know why. I just feel like there's a connection there with that.
So just honor that. You bow to that there's,
Okay.
mind doesn't have to understand it, but there's a sense, there's a intuition sense, the body's knowing instead of the head knowing. So just, you're right. And we don't like it. We don't like
Okay.
these affairs and we don't like this adult business that went on with them back in the day. And for you, the important thing is that rotten, right? So
Yeah.
so
Ugh.
so you kind of were around this osmosis of rotten, and being an empathic person took it in.
Right.
So same orphan, or maybe some others who got the rotten stuff. So just open your arms to them and say, come here, come here.
Okay.
And then it might be something along the lines of, hey guys, this rotten stuff isn't about you. There's stuff going on here with mom and dad and other women, some pain there. And that's mom's way of dealing and using those words. And this isn't about you. Saying to those orphans, it's not about you, gang.
You. It's not about you. I think I was one of those kids. Everything was about me. It was my fault. And someone once said, when you're empathic, you don't, sometimes it's hard to distinguish what's yours and what somebody else's,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
boundaries is very difficult because it's all you feel everything and you don't understand that there's separation. So what we're going to do, hello boundaries, hello separation. We're going to invite them to grow because they've kind of been amorphous, maybe even invisible. And
okay.
they're there because we're talking about them. So you just want to, everything's consciousness. So you kind of want to go to the boundaries and to the separation. You can get bigger.
You can grow.
Yeah,
It's
and
okay.
it's an invitation, right? Take up more
Yeah.
space. You can separate. You can rise up, root down, occupy, right?
Yeah. I just feel like there's a part of me in my body that hasn't been allowed to come out and really feel and be with it. Like, I've been kind of like keeping
Yeah,
it close, kind of.
exactly. So
Yeah.
so so that's the small, and now we want to invite. It's safe. It's safe. Like it can unfurl. It'll know how it wants to do it, and it might take. We have to go slow and meet it, right?
Okay.
But even giving it the invitation to go, you're right, that's contracted and small, that's uncomfortable. You don't have to do that. Your consciousness, you're mighty, you're magnificent, you're everything. So psst, wake up, like open up.
That's what I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Open, open. Yes, please. Bigger, rising up. Also the capable, like adult, capable, strong. When you go big and get bigger than that other kind of stuff, right? Even you can invite her because you're now it's like that was then. That was when we were small. We're big. We're big. Bigger anyway.
Bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. See what happens. I think it's shifting on you, but you tell me because it's happening to you. I can only kind of sense it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm calmed down.
Yes,
Like,
good sign. Good sign.
yeah.
Okay, good. Separation, boundaries, also like me, right? Because we can get lost in other. So it's kind of, oh yeah, there's a me here with a line around it, right? And line with the skin and line with the 2 feet around us, our personal space. So empaths lose all that. So it's like, oh yeah, good idea. Hello. So just welcoming as that comes online, welcoming
Okay.
it and reassuring it. Yes, please. Good idea. We like that. Releasing that constriction and opening up.
That's what it feels like is happening is, oh, like I can breathe, like, oh,
Yes. Excellent.
oh,
Excellent. Open. Yes.
open.
Breathing. Yes. Yeah. You're just inviting all that and saying, thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. Good idea. We like it.
Yeah, I'll take this.
Yeah. 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 Yes, please. Authentic yes on this one. Yay. Just draw open arms here. It's opening up. Yeah. Okay. And just invite the orphan to do that too. It's happening simultaneously with you, but we want to bring her along for the ride, right? And you're
Okay.
kind of like modeling and showing her, like, let me be your mom, because you got mommed by a mom who didn't have a mom. So now you have to be your
Right.
mom to her and say, this is the way we do it. No need to crunch down, no need to get all lost into this amorphous stuff. This is what we do. We open up here and we breathe and we get that sense of this is me and that's them and that's their stuff. That's not me. I'm not rotten.
No. Yeah, I don't even know what to say right now. Huh.
Yeah, you don't have to say anything. This is probably the natural conclusion, right? So this is inquiry that normally brings us to a balancing. So that settled the mind too, because the mind's, been a good coping mechanism and it has a lot to say. So not having anything to say is perfect because now it's the balance.
It feels
Yeah,
good.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no thing to say. Yes, please. Good idea. Ah.
Yeah.
So just leave you with that, like, just acquaint, make that
Ah.
familiar. Yeah. And just a good job to everybody. And the one on the couch, integrate her in, bring her close, bring her in. She's joining you with that. And then you just want to collapse that scene and any of the others connected, right? Collapse them
Okay.
down. You can call on, I have this wonderful construction crew who comes in. So on your behalf, with your permission, I'll bring him in and
Yeah.
okay, they're just going to demolish that scene. Mom's gone on, you've gone on, and just to demolish it, never have to return to again, kaput. And all the other ones that might be attached, all those ones with crazy and rotten or any other things that you got from the osmosis in the family, just collapsing all those memories down. And with it coming all that energy coming back to you, all those orphans returning home. Yes, please.
Mm.
Yes, please. You're welcome. Let's be open. Let's breathe. Ah, nothing to say here. Just breathing. in our own boundary, our own form, grounded, open. Having come back from some really good inner work that will continue to percolate. Yes, please. Just a deep bow to all the parts inside you and all the aspects of family. Another final adieu to the crazy ones in the lineage who are also thanking you for doing that piece of the puzzle for the whole family system. And your family is connected to the whole universal family here. So also the work you did helps and benefits everybody, all of us included. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Very productive to go meet these things. Yeah, pressure and crazy and rotten. Hello.
But
look at the treasures.
yeah, I just several things is my grandbaby's up, so I got to go, but I'm going to give it a few minutes. And the other thing, I have two questions to think. One thing that comes up is open heart. My father had open heart surgery several times. And the other thing is, what would you recommend me to do on a daily basis to help with these orphans before I leave?
Well, you don't have to go looking for orphans. They will find you, and you identify them by just what you did, which is meeting your emotions, meeting whatever is present.
Okay.
Yep. And try the full orphan protocol back from the Theo days, but the shorthand is what you just did. Hush, hush, come here.
Okay.
So that's one place to start.
So when the crazy is there, hush, hush, come here.
Well, just wait and see, because I'll say to your mind, because that's who's popped up, and it's like, thank you for popping up again, intellect. So intellect, this isn't your job. The work's already been done, so you don't have to scan. And if it does come up, but intellect, just wait, because it might not come up again the same way. Okay. So intellect, you're going to have some space freed up in your tasks because you're not going to have to monitor so much for this.
Okay.
So just say that the intellect in the little clipboard, right? It's like, that's good because you'll be able to devote it to some other things. Yeah.
Okay.
And then just if it does come up, just reassure it too. Like, okay, intellect, you'll be able to refer back to this. You'll be able to drop by here. You can do the Orphan Rescue, the full protocol. But the biggest thing is meeting what is, right? Our tendency is to run away from it. And as my oneness teacher says, that like what you just met, these where the treasures are. Most of us are programmed to avoid them like heck, right? So look what happens in this short amount of time. When you do the opposite, you actually meet them, do your best to welcome them, stand in front of them, and then you found what their gifts are.
Okay.
And if there happens to be an orphan, you'll know. Right. And then you're the grandma running off to look after a grandchild, do that to yourself.
Okay.
Evoke your grandmother energy and wisdom.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. I got the chills on that. Okay. Yeah. And the open heart, I guess.
Yeah. There was probably, you said about him and affairs and stuff, this is all individual, but with heart issues, normally that can be some problems, right? I mean, he literally had to have the physical body opened.
He did,
right?
yeah.
So the flip would be that it's probably the patterning and the armoring, and for probably very understandable reasons with his context and lineage and stuff, right? It was a closed heart. Yeah.
Yeah, abuse and stuff. So there's a lot there.
Yeah. And you said with the affairs, right, that can be a way of not being able to have an open heart.
Right.
So keeping the heart closed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much.
That's a general thing. So you have to poke around to find what lands in this particular case, but that's a general thing.
There's more to it. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Process and leave. Yeah.
I know.
We're going to talk about you. You can watch the recording.
So what do I go to? What do I go to
Well,
today's date?
you found your way here, so you will get an email notification in a couple of days from
Okay.
Patricia, my assistant. Will send it out, and the video will be there, as will the maps.
Okay.
And if that doesn't show up, check your spam filters, or just go to my YouTube channel, Shift It Coach, in a couple of days, and this will be posted. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hit and run processing.
That was the quickest one I've ever done.
That's interesting. Okay, so now we'll turn to your cells and just breathe. We're making a rapid segue for all. So we have this map in front of us. The map's never the territory, right? It's pale comparison to all the stuff that kind of went on there. And that's a map of the process for Anne. What's also going on is you two in the container having your own experiences as well. Denise has been here before with other inquiries, and here's Mom again. Yeah, so I'm another mother and different things. So if you care to, you don't have to. Normally if Anne was here, you'd put stuff in the chat, but I'm going to just turn my attention to you two and just see anything that intellects or hearts want to say about the work that you just witnessed with Anne, and you two diligently holding space there. Thank you. And then we'll just see. Sometimes there's piggybacking that happens. So something is activated and then zoom, we're right into another inquiry or some other piece of work. So what's up, if anything?
I have a question.
Yeah.
This was extremely powerful and applicable, and I don't like that it was, but
Yeah.
there you are. When we were processing before, you were talking about the orphans, and I was coming to tears, but then you started on the mom stuff, and she kind of went more into having tears and sympathy and understanding for her mom. I had the opposite.
You went somewhere else. Yeah, that's okay. Natural. Everybody's going to be different.
I didn't think I had as many warriors until that moment that I do there. So I just kind of went, I don't know, around.
Do you want to go meet it?
Well, no, but
no, I'd rather not. Okay.
But I will.
Yeah. I should find a different way to phrase that. Yeah. Okay. It's prime territory because it's right up. So before we do, I want to check in with Candace because this is your first time here and we're moving rapidly. So let me just do a little litmus test. How are you?
No, I'm doing good. Again, very powerful stuff. Like, what a gift for Anne to share all of that.
Yeah.
And to be able to parallel process along with that. I mean, my experiences are very, very different, but a lot about the survival really resonated with me.
Yeah. Personal survival and then family, lineage, collective. Yeah, it's big. And in this time right now pushes a lot of survival buttons, understandably, on different levels. Yeah. Okay, so just a big bow there to survival. Yeah, survival within. Yeah. Okay, well, we're diving in again. Candace, same kind of thing. We'll explore with Denise and we'll just hold space, and there may be things that connect with your personal experience, or there may not be. We'll unpack and debrief after whatever emerges here. Okay, now I'm going to share my slide again. And just remember, Denise, treasures. There are treasures in here after some of the harder stuff. So, and oops. How do I get that off? That way, good. Okay, I hit something I don't normally do. Okay. And just to assuade anything that might be going on, if there's any sort of feelings like bad me or whatever, that the process that you observed and went a certain place that went to a softening and tears, and you had an opposite. You had more of a pullback or hardening or whatever it might be. So everybody's individual, right? So there's nothing wrong. It's really unfair to self to do any sort of comparisons when you're seeing somebody else's inquiry, because we're all lined up in different ways and we have different contexts. But it can be very useful for lots of reasons, including the one you just had, which is like, I was right there until that happened, right? And then it's like, so now we go to that point, right? We go to that awareness that you had, opening, happening, softening, heart, tears, and then you hit something. So let's just go to that, whatever it is, and do your best to meet it and define it. And that'll be an entry point to begin.
Define it.
Well, we know there's a mom.
Oh, there is, yes, there's monster mom.
Okay.
That's not exactly true, but kind of.
No, well, that's fascinating, amazing language. So we're just going to go, hello, monster mom. And you know the words, you are welcome here.
Want it or not.
Even if you don't believe them and they just seem like words, it still kind of does something in the nervous system. So we're just, hello, monster mom.
It just, this is so big.
That's another one, is big. You just want to, yes, because mom stuff is big.
Well, my mother's mother, my grandmother, was literally in the institutions for 6 months at a time every 5 years.
Yeah. Ooh, goosey bumps. Yeah.
No, not goosey bumps.
So I just meant goosey bumps because, like, what are the odds, right? Like, what are the odds that we have the same?
I'm having like no reaction to it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the not. But her reaction to my grandmother, of course, back in her generation, it was such a stigma, more than even now. And so she would do the opposite, proving we were not crazy. And what that meant for her, if I understand it correctly, as a child, you don't always understand this stuff when you're a child.
Of course. Yep.
So childlike mind as well as adult-like reality. She had to prove she wasn't the crazy one. And in order for her to not be the crazy one, someone else in the household had to.
Yep.
I wonder who that would be, but yes, it was me.
Yeah.
Thing is, I figured out in my childlike mind that if you took the blame for everything, it got better. So, you know, that was a survival skill.
Yep.
And until I finally started to believe it, which, because it was such a long process of still being true, I've had to have a professional support person tell me that the only way out of such enmeshed drama in a family, the triangle, I don't know what the name of it is, you have to go out the bad guy, you know. And so I own the title, but I do not live in the title of bad guy or crazy, the family crazy person, which we also talked about here a little bit. But
I keep spelling drama like trauma. That's interesting.
It's the same in my world. It's
interesting that I keep doing it. So it's like, we're just going to go with it. I'll tell you something that my teacher says a lot. There's an AUM apparently in both these words, the way I'm spelling them right now. And in oneness, dual kind of stuff, Om, right? Om, it's like the original tone and is core. And that's, words are always so interesting because they carry clues, right? So it's this whole thing about the so-called bad stuff and scary stuff. When we meet it, the treasures lie in it, and this word kind of shows us that. So, so you gave a good, beautiful dump of stuff here. So we're going to start at the beginning.
We have a trash can here somewhere.
And we're going to meet it. We're going to meet it all because it was delicious layers that all showed themselves. So I'll rattle them off, and you just apply them the way that it feels right to apply them on your end, and you can tweak anything. So just monster mom, and this being so big, just agree with it. You're right, especially because a lot of this is being a child, even though it goes into adult, right? So literally it was super big.
Yeah.
And it also preceded you because
Yeah.
it's the earlier generations, right? So all that ancestral lineage stuff, you're just going to agree. Yeah, very big. You're right. And we don't like it. And then there's, I think you said the shame and the stigma, right? So that when you show up as that sweet little baby in that field, it's already carrying this stuff. So the constellation wise, it's in there in the family field, even if your little mind yet doesn't know it, right? Your body does. And so just agreeing as that little body comes into that field empath wise and picks up on this stuff, that it doesn't feel good and it's funky and you don't kind of, it's confusing because you're not going to have the cognitive to understand it even if you feel it. So just, you're right. And just even that little baby you, putting out that arm and cuddling her close and rocking or whatever feels appropriate to just soothe her and say, yeah, kind of a bum rap kid, like to come into this lineage of mothers and the insanity of how that was, you know, whether that was true insanity or it was labeled or whatever is going on at the time doesn't matter. She's in the field of that, right? So just comfort her and pull her close and hush, come here. You're right, we didn't like it. Didn't feel good. And it had a lot of complications. Mom already had a lot of stuff going because of her mom and that family stuff. And as the woman who was your mother developed, she got some stuff about proving we aren't crazy, which people who do have crazy ones in their family wear more, right? Understandably than others who don't have that. There's compensating factors. And there's also, because this goes back some decades, right? Society was in a different place. So the ramifications, things have changed. They haven't completely changed. There's still stuff in our day and age, but back when this was all happening too, when you're coming into the scene and even earlier when your mom's growing up, right? The different mores, different mores, different pressures, greater survival stuff, right? The appearances and having to care about how one comes across, and if it's a smaller town or whatever it is, the knowing and talking, and that's big stuff. So you're just I can feel them here, just the bow to the ancestry and all that stuff that they went through. Doesn't mean you're agreeing or whatever. It's just kind of like, I see it, like I acknowledge it, like you guys were embedded. This family went through some stuff. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It took me a long time to even remember it.
Yeah. Agree with that. That's a coping mechanism too, right? A very wise one, to tuck it away. So it took a long time to remember. Yep, you're right, it did.
As well as break the family cycle.
Yep.
That still is in process.
Yep. There might be there's a line with constellation and it's flapping through my head right now. And try it. It might not be fully correct, but it might be along the lines as you kind of say to them, look kindly on me. It's my time. You had your time and I have my time, and I'm sorry, my time's a little different.
I'm kind of more at the place of just walking away.
Okay, good, good,
Enough
good.
of you. I've
Good, good,
spent
good.
enough of me on you. I've just
Very
spent
good.
enough of me on you.
Very good. Yeah, it's time for me. I don't need to carry this forward.
Yeah, the judgments are just too much, and I'm not fighting with it anymore.
Okay, so if you're not fighting with it, what are you doing?
I am finding me.
Yay, there we go. I'm finding me. Say that a couple times.
I am finding me. I am finding me. I am finding me.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, this is where let's invite that to grow. And there might be some stomping. I can feel my feet stomping, right?
There's more than that.
Well, dude, let it rip, right? And it's just like stomp. It can go volcano. It can stand up. It can go. I feel like the kid, right? Like just let it go. I'm fine. Release it. It's okay to be that. Like invite that anger, invite that frustration, that F off kind of energy.
Well,
It is welcome here. Yeah, welcome it. It's good. Welcome it.
It took too long for me to even realize if I'm going to be the bad person, the crazy person, I might as well do what I want.
You might as well have some fun.
I'm going to have the bad rap anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you go judge whatever you want to.
Yeah. Okay, good. So good. And so just saying to consciousness, good idea, good idea. Let's expand instead of this contracted stuff about me not being okay or have to worry about them and them and them and this kind of how people perceive. Letting it go, dropping it, and then that expansion, that opening of self, right? That opening of taking your space and doing some things that, you want to do as opposed to being concerned about how that is perceived or how that's, judged. Yeah. Good idea. What does it, as you kind of invite it to expand, see what happens. Is it able to expand, or are there any yeah buts that come up?
Oh, yes. It definitely can expand.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it has been. It's almost scary.
Yeah.
And it might even look crazy.
Ah, yes.
And you know what? So what?
Yay. Yeah. Yes.
So what? I wish I felt this way more often.
Well, just allow it, just so you can say, there's an invitation here. You can, if you want, right? Because some part just popped up. Maybe it's intellect, whatever, going, we should do this more often. So say, good idea. Yes, please.
Well,
It's allowable.
I did that standing taller thing.
Yes. Yes.
And having a spine, which you have to have a spine, and your root chakra, actually the whole thing.
Yes.
More personally aligned into your own stuff instead of everybody else's. Boy.
Yes, please. So this is another layer of the onion of the theme that you've been working, right? This expansion, empowerment, and me, and expression. So just yes, agreeing. Good idea. We're going to keep doing it, and we're doing it at this level too. Yes, please.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure I've got a good balance with this warrior stuff though.
Yeah. Okay, good. So there's a yes, please, right? And that is because it's expanding nicely. So we want to agree with that. Yes, please. Yes, please. So parts of us really like this expansion and this, hey, even if it looks crazy stuff. And then there's a little something in there, right? That's said, oh, it's a little scary because you're getting bigger and you're expanding and it's unfamiliar and it's different and people have their stuff and you like it, but it's a little scary. So let's invite the little scary, and then also the other thing that you just said. There's something else that's a yeah but in there. What is that?
Well, going into the expansion and being me, and I prefer to be it's becoming, it's more of a anger, revenge, going to get you back. And I'd rather it just be an authentic me,
right,
standing in my real person instead of this angry, bitter, you know, you
Yes.
having them afraid of me, actually I like. So,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
isn't
That's
exactly,
honest. That's very
well,
honest. Yeah.
I,
Good.
I'd rather be an authentic person instead of just the angry.
Yes. Yes. But we have to meet that first,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's beautiful. So let's just, hello, anger.
Anger,
Yeah.
revenge.
Yeah, and anger and revenge, and even though parts of us don't like it and parts of us do, you are welcome here, right? It's kind of complicated. There's a polarity in there, and it's okay. You're just accepting both. There's a yes, please to it, because anger is not a bad thing in its right context, and there's plenty here where anger is totally valid. There's been a lot of suppression and focus on other people's needs and stuff, and it's very understandable to be angry and to have that. So we just want to acknowledge that and meet it.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be like teenager kind of orphan stuff too, and like add a girl, like high five her. And with you also kind of got to watch the boundary thing so she
Well,
doesn't get so out of it. Now the revenge starts to go into the territory that you want to yes, you're right, like revenge would be tempting. A little bit of sweet revenge,
Lord,
understandable.
it's very powerful.
Yes.
It really, it focuses you well,
Yep, agree with that. It's
if
true.
that's what the focus you want. But
Yep. Yep, agree. Just take a moment to agree about the
it is powerful.
power in revenge and the focus that it brings.
Well, there's
Yeah.
that power over, and then there's power within.
Ah, beautiful.
I'd rather choose the power within than the power over.
Right, and then this is where this warrior stuff comes in, which is the power over.
Mhm.
So we got warrior over, and then we've got something warrior within, I guess. We'll just put within. So some polarity, the outside and the in. So we're just welcoming them both. And say a no thank you. There's an authentic, after, you've stomped and validated the anger and stuff, that then you can, from that place, just having experienced it and not made it wrong, you can go, there's a preference. So there's a no thank you to that warrior over. Thank goodness, right? We got a lot of warrior over going in the world right now. So how wonderful to maturely be able to say a no thank you. Something happened with the sound. Is it you or me?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, good. Yep.
And, I just want to know that there's, back at the old survival skills, I would like new survival skills that are, like you say, on the outside.
Excellent. Excellent.
And on the inside. The survival skills on the inside, which are the orphan and the warrior. But what am I trying to say?
No, you did good. So just bow to the old survival skills that you're now outgrowing, and just thank them. Thank you, thank you. You served your purpose. You got me through some stuff and I grew from it. So thank you for those survival skills. Thank you for the warrior, right? Because warriors can come in handy in the right place. So you don't want to fully throw out your warrior. You just, want them in the right place. So
right before this session, I, for some reason, had to watch the last episode of The Mandalorian. He's getting this stronger armor, and he's taking care of this little baby Yoda, who is absolutely adorable. But he has a soft heart, but a really hard, armor.
Mhm.
And I just like the way he processes the stuff that comes along.
Wow. Wow, what a beautiful, I'm getting goosebumps again. What a beautiful metaphor, right? And you're attracted to it because it's mimicking as well what you're unfolding within you. So as you look at that Mandalorian, is that how you say it? Yeah, as you look at that armor, right, and you can kind of see it there, and it's also mimicking in you. So just a deep bow to that armor and to that warrior and its context in history, even if you don't fully like it. And then it's covering up that heart.
Well, yeah, and he's actually taking this treasure, the baby Yoda, to
Mhm.
the place they belong,
Mm.
to empower him with his own skills. So it's a path, and it's his job to find where this belongs, to its true people, its true home, and my true people and my true home. I'm not terribly happy with.
All of that is gold. So say yes, please, to all of that nuance. Yes, please. Yes, please. Good idea. To treasure and home and yada yada. I was scrambling for my Yoda. so, so let's get a little ears on here. And I know the baby Yoda is going to be much cuter, but
I don't know why, I just really loved that show, and I'm not usually that. Anyway, there was something, and then there was a spot where the Yoda, or the baby Yoda, went to the top of a mountain and sat on this big rock and was sending out a signal, and this light just emanated from him, and he was like connected to the divine, or whatever, his people or whatever. And it was like a spiritual, and nothing could get at him while this was going on.
Beautiful. Yes,
I,
please.
that connection of strength, as well as the light, it was like sparkly and colorful, and it was a personal showing of his soul or something.
Ooh, yes.
Or I'm making it up. One of them.
so that was all gorgeous and beautiful in the middle, and then intellect kicked in. So we'll just say thank you for sharing, intellect. off. This is right brain stuff.
Yeah,
because it'll judge it and poo-poo it, and the most beautiful thing, it just judged and poo-pooed. So then we go back to this, right? And we're just going to invite this to get larger, because the intellect's pretty large, right? And so just inviting baby Yoda to grow, right? Like you have baby Yoda within you. It's a treasure. And this whole connection to the divine and to light, and that connection and that sparkliness and that colorfulness, like, yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. And even inviting the warrior, could you and your armor step back? Would you be willing to take up less space? I'm not asking you to go fully away, because you're going to come in handy at times. Maybe you'd like to take a little break because you've been working hard. And would you be willing for baby Yoda and this divine energy to take up more space in me, and just see what happens? You're kind of negotiating, because the warrior's been on side, it's been serving you big love for a long time. So see how it responds to the idea about stepping it back a bit and taking a bit of a rest and not showing up so much.
He's had a full-time job for a long time.
Right. So I thought so, because sometimes they can be very interested to change it up a bit, maybe even go on vacation or something along those lines. See if there's it'll know best. What does it flicker to you? Is there anything that it communicates? Is it open? It might have buts or concerns, which we need to address a little here, but
no, it's just, I don't know. I've been in the warrior so long. I don't know how to not have it.
Yeah, that's understandable. So just agree with that. Yes, it's unfamiliar. This is new. We've never done this before. This is going to take some getting used to. This is odd feeling. Yeah.
It's almost feel like abandonment.
Okay. So that's what we need to soothe. So just say it's not abandonment. No, thank you. Because it's kept you safe, the warrior. So the part that feels abandoned, just bring it close, right? And this will be you, your adult now self. Bring it close and just say, it's okay. Warrior's not going anywhere, but you and I are going to get a little more acquainted here.
I hope so.
And bring it to the heart, because that's what's wanting to grow. And let's invite the heart to expand, right? Because the little one's going to feel abandoned if you just take away that energy, right? It needs something, and the heart's just lying right here. That's the heart and the light and the divine. So ask it to expand, because that's probably going to help this part that's feeling abandoned. It's like, wait, 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 we're not done. We're not just taking away, we're bringing.
If
Try this one on for size, kids. How does this feel?
my heart as an adult has so much grief in it.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
so much grief that it's not helping.
Okay. So just agree that there's a grief layer, right? So as you encounter, it's interesting because Anne was talking about the broken heart, right? The open heart and everything with her father. And so grief, you're meeting the grief. There's a grief layer, heart wall there of grief. And so just agree with it. Hello, grief, you're right. There's a lot of grief. Yes, you're doing great. And just breathing, and those tears are beautiful. That softness, that's exactly right. Lots of grief. And just meeting the grief.
When you're empathic, there's a lot of everything.
It's true.
But
Yep.
grief has been I call it the G word.
Agree with it.
I am in grief about all kinds of stuff.
Yep. It's true.
Real, current, and past.
Yep. I know some of it, and the bit I know, I agree. Right. So just doing your best. This is one of those big ones who've come to satsang, right? And standing in front of grief. This might be a hard one, but a little bow of respect and honoring. Yeah.
It's heavy, so to breathe is.
And invite the heart. There's other aspects of the heart in there too. And just inviting them to, psst, you can get bigger. Doesn't mean the grief has to go away. The grief's there too, but it's overshadowing, right? So just see the other part of the heart. Would you like to get bigger? Would you like to expand? Would you like to help me meet this grief, right? The love of the heart, meeting the grief.
So does the grief get bigger?
The heart.
Oh, the heart.
The heart. That's right there, probably underneath the grief. And actually even invite, I can feel arms kind of come up and embracing and wrapping the grief. Yeah.
Yikes.
Love arms from the, yeah. Still might be a yikes, but just checking. And see what the yikes is. What's the yikes? If we were to actually embrace and that heart to wrap loving arms around the grief. And to just be it, like to with grief, there's no talking, there's just being, right? And allowing. In fact, words kind of interfere. So the heart will know how to do that, to just hold it, or even if holding's too much, just to stand nearby. Like, sometimes you just have a hand on somebody or just a finger, or even you're just in the room with them, right? So the heart will know. Invite it to see how it wants to interact.
Jeez.
Yeah. You're doing beautiful, Denise. Yeah.
Losing my breath.
Yeah, just agree. Yeah. That says it's moving because it's been stuck in there. So, and it's okay. It's probably continue to meet this, right? This will be what we leave you with today, is just meeting the grief and that heart, just standing by.
So which is the treasure, the heart or the grief?
Pardon me, which is the what?
The treasure?
Well, actually both, but that's just that's the intellect. So we'll go intellect. Good job. You're trying to figure this all out. And I'll say to it, it's actually both, but you may not know that yet.
No, I don't.
Yeah. And it's okay, because you know what, intellect, this is hard stuff, and it's not going to always make sense to the mind. It might afterwards. It might afterwards. This is being. This is no head. This is just being.
You can be and just not fight, huh?
Yeah, and you can be with the grief, right? Not have to think about it, not have to do anything. And a lot of warriors, I work with some of them, You're a form of it. We all are, but literal warriors I work with, soldiers, right, who have a lot of grief. And they're actually, some of them, very, very good with being with it. Because they have to.
I think
Otherwise, they'll go crazy. Yeah,
yeah, for me, grief.
I know. It's a very natural aversion. Yeah. And so just in as little bits, right? Not like the whole tsunami, but go back to the heart, because the heart will know. Just invite it. See its wisdom as we offer this to the heart and say, hey, heart, what's your consciousness, you're the divine, the light, the connection, the sparkly, right? You can bring that in too. It can come down, the heart can wrap. You can kind of have two allies to assist here, baby Yoda in there as well. And see what their intelligence is. They'll know how to work with it. Maybe it's incrementally, softly, gently, just a little bit at a time. Just ask for their help. Ask for baby Yoda and the divine and the light and the heart to help with the grief, and see what it shows you.
Big thoughts. This being is hard.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, it's foreign, right? And so you want to bow to the mind and the intellect, because it's carried things, and so has the warrior.
Yes.
And they've done a very good job. And it was a good strategy, at the time it all got birthed. It was a really good strategy, and it got you this far. And you're developing, and now you're going to the next level, and the next level is being. And that is a conundrum for those of us who are really used to doing and task and and warrior, right? And it computes as like, sometimes it can be like, oh, that's weak, or that's nothing. It doesn't have value, but it has great, great value. But the only way to discover that is to be. And through the process of being, you learn, right? So we're just going to bow to all of that unfamiliarness and the discombobulation, right? Of, whoa, there's a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's within, not without. And it's the softening as opposed to the armor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the heart and the love and the light and all that baby Yoda stuff, probably representing some sort of connection or spirituality. So just yes, yes, yes to all those things that are so difficult to articulate over in our left brains, but no less valuable, often the missing ingredient.
Well, when you didn't get to have a me, you had to be
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
You have to find out how to be me.
Yep, absolutely. And this is part of it. Now, what do you know? There's being in there, not just doing, and not just warrior, as great as those things were and necessary. And you may have to pull out in the future at times. But wow, talk about like virgin territory, right? Like, it's like, whoa, new world.
Well,
Yes, yes, please.
Anne helped me get here. So her process helped me with this to
Yep.
get here.
Yep.
So it was
Grace.
Yeah, grace. There's the word.
Yeah, goosebumps. Yes, grace is on the case.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yes. Goosey bumps all over the body now. Oh, grace is on the case. Thank you, Pamela. Mm-hmm. That's one that's been very meaningful for me from my teacher, Pamela. Nice. Yes, please. So this is where we'll leave it.
Okay.
And this is what you continue to be with, right? Which is this shift that's happening, and the warrior's ready to give it up because the warrior's tired and can take a break. It's not fully going away. And there's protection and safety. And this is back to some of the stuff that happened with Anne too, right? That feeling separation, feeling boundaries. And it doesn't have to be in the warrior's a good way, because that's like a wall, right? It's armor, it's very strong. But now with the being, it's like, oh, there's a different way to find that, right? And more about the light and the connection. If you need to, whew, you can bring in the wall and the warrior. But you know, this heart has a boundary to it. It has a field, right? And that can help with the differentiation too of me and them and it, right? And continuing to be me, standing in this, here I am, dropping down, rest of the warrior, drop the armor, drop the shield, drop the accoutrements, right? The whatever these are, staffs or swords or whatever's, just putting them down. Good idea. Whew, what a load. Rest. And then inviting that rising up of the being and asking it to just teach me, show me, unfold through grace. Grace is on the case. Yes, please.
Unfold through grace. I like that. It's time to grace myself.
Ooh, yes. Yes, please. I just, you know how knights get anointed? I just kind of felt the anointing, the sword on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And service to the queen. Yeah. But an honorable, you know, not an honorable heart opened queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fair, honorable, just, only pulls out the artillery when needed and necessary to protect. Yeah. Protect the vulnerable ones. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Should leave it there. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful.
Ooh.
Beautiful stuff to bring to satsang. Thank you.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all that energy too is signs of stuff moving on you. Yeah. Lots of big movements. Wow. And I'll have fun coloring Yoda up. I'm gonna go look up, what's the baby Yoda look like?
How do I go towards movies? That's my.
Well, they're so great for archetypes, right? They just carry, and the things that we resonate with, right? The positive things, not just the aversions, are just so powerful. Yeah. Okay, we have a little bit of time, which will help us bring closure. So we'll just pass around the mics. We had two very deep, beautiful, wonderful pieces of work today. Hello, Anne, if you're watching the recording, to come back and see. And a big bow to Denise and a big bow to Candace as well. Like, boy, get thrown into the deep water here coming to your first process pop-up. So I'll start with you if there's anything you want to say to conclude, how it lands with your own system or doesn't. Yeah.
No, I mean, thank you very much, Denise, for what you've shared as well. And to be honest, like, I mean, I was listening, but really engaged my listening as soon as you brought up the Star Wars reference, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love the Mandalorian series, and I just, you know, my mind was going, I'm like, actually, yeah, that's a really good reference. That's a very good way to look at it. So yeah, like it helped to connect with me for sure. So thank you.
The right brain will use those metaphors, right? It's like with us with visuals, we're trying to get something that represents something bigger. And we talk about the use of metaphors with visuals, right? So with this consciousness work too, each person will go to their own individual place, and your consciousness will select out the stuff that's most meaningful. And it's often like this was just so elegant. There's so much contained. Like that's the perfect movie reference or book or character or whatever that comes out. And each person is unique. Each person have Yoda and baby Yoda lined up in different ways, right? And there can be overlaps here. So that's one that's definitely lands for me too. I have a Yoda bracelet somewhere. With all these great bead work. Yeah. Denise, I'll just swing back. Any closing comments for you?
I am speechless, feeling like I used every word I could use in the right way.
Right. I got two speechless people with the process pop-ups at the end. That's a good sign. Yes, it switched over to the other side, the non-word side. Yeah, to bring the balance. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, and thank you. It was nice to be able to do that work with you because you've been patiently holding space and observing with lots of different ones the last several sessions. So yeah, nice to have the interplay of how it's percolating through you and help that move to that level of that being and that grace. That's big stuff to move through to. Yeah. And honor teaches me, washes through my nervous system, both these pieces of work too, and bits of things that I'm encountering working myself get worked and softened and changed by working with people. So thank you so much. What else to close out? I'll just give a little helicopter view of what's happening in Shift It Coach. So Candace, you've been through the fundamentals. We have a new fundamentals that just opened up this week, fundamentals of working visually, and it's a great cohort. It's at 50% off for pandemic pricing. And I have also an accessibility level, which has been really interesting to open up to countries where people have like low currencies and where the cost is prohibitive. So I really like what's happening, and it's a cool cohort, especially with what's happening with the whole field having moved online. So that's up and running. Next weekend is what's called the Shift It Online Coaching Retreat. I have my Shift It system, and it's a prerequisite for the visual coach stuff for people who are interested in that. It's also just a place to come if you're not a process professional, like here too, right? To just do your own personal processing. So it's a system using visual templates, 17 templates called Shift It. And it's going to be done over 3 days. They do it in different kinds of formats, but this is the intensive format. And there will be quite a few people who are coming who are getting it for their prerequisite for visual coach certification, which is coming down the road. But there's lots of people who are coming just because it's 2021 and people need to figure out who am I now, right? And how do I respond to this? Doings and beings. Yeah. So that's right around the horizon. If one has done Shift It before, there is a free repeater on that. So people will swing by and do that. And if you come for this the first time, you can always come as a free repeater down the road. Visual coach certification. I had a really big cohort in 2020, which is great. And I'm splitting it. I'm trying it for the first year with 2 cohorts. So there's a spring one coming up, which is filling up nicely. And there's one in the fall. And there's 2 prerequisites for that. Well, kind of 3. Ideally, something that already ethically enables you to work with individuals. So you're doing something with individuals or you're getting trained in that. Fundamentals of working visually or equivalent experience. And then going through Shift It, because my Shift It tools, that system and 20 other maps, one needs to make sure that that's going to be of use for you in your own practice. So going through the Shift It and coming to this kind of stuff, you get a sense of my tools and work and can see if that fits with what you want to do. Anyway, details on the site. And after that, the final course of this season is the Fast and Loose Sketch Club with Rhoda Draws, who's in Mexico, and I'm in Canada. And we run in-person ones down in Mexico and San Miguel Allende, which we can't do at the moment. We have done online before, so we're going to do another sketch club together and work through the Fast and Loose material. And I think it'd be fun because it's always fun with Rhoda. She's remarkable, and she's also recently dove into the iPad and the Procreate tools. She was working on another tablet, and she kind of wrote the books on the Painter Corel programs back in the day. So she's now made the leap at almost 80 into the iPad and the Procreate. She's an amazing urban sketcher, artist extraordinaire, and caricature artist as well. So Hats off to Rhoda. Love working with her. So we'll do the sketch club in April. And that's it. As for this, these pop up every couple of weeks. I just take a look at my schedule. So after I color up the maps here, I'll take a look at the schedule, and Pat will send out, along with what we did today, out to the email list and let you know when the next one is. I try to mix it up in terms of days and times and stuff. And yeah, just intuitively unfolds. So just bit by bit, we see when the next one is. And you're both on the list, and you'll continue to receive emails as long as you want to know when these are happening. Anybody listening in who's new and maybe hasn't joined the Process Pop-Up, it's a one-time registration. I have to kind of sort out the Zoom bombers. But so that's why there's a registration. But once you're in, same thing, you're on the list and you get notified when new ones are coming up, and you get the maps and the video and stuff when we've completed, like we just have here. Okay, so that's a wrap for today. It's always different every time. So yeah, really lovely. I appreciate it. Thank you, Candace, for bringing your new energy. And thank you, Denise, for continuing to do the work, getting another layer of the onion done today. This is the good stuff. Being and grace, although of course there's grief in there as well, but you've got wonderful allies with the being and grace to help you just meet the grief and just be with it. Nothing to do but be. Yeah. And then it'll move on you when it's natural for it to move and shift, right? But the being and meeting comes first. Yeah. Yeah. You can see the yups happening. Yeah. Okay. Take good care. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Sweet, sweet satsang.